All practice pages and other materials for learning cursive are available at my Teachers Pay Teachers store at www.teacherspayteachers.com/store/Ann-Fosnight. Learning Cursive, Lesson 48, Capital I. Capital I and capital J are our next two letters. I call them laid back letters because they are made laying back, like they're resting. This one, I also think it has its rocking chair in it. And a J used to have a rocking chair when it was in print. A capital I starts in an unusual location. It starts to the right side of the letter. It starts at the baseline or slightly below the baseline, and it makes a kind of backwards L with a bigger loop. Then it goes up and comes back with a connector. That isn't really a connector. It's just made the same way. And so it starts down below on the right side of the letter, leans back, comes up with a backwards undercurve, and then the smile. You can either begin it right on the baseline or slightly below the baseline. If you do it slightly below the baseline, you can use that line as a connector. Not really a connector, but as a way to make it fancier with an X shape down there. And that makes it look really cool, and you might want to try that. As you get ready to complete your capital I practice page, make sure your desktop is clear with just your paper and your pencil. Make sure you have a proper slant on your paper. Make sure you're sitting up straight, and make sure you've written your name neatly in cursive at the top of the page. If you still haven't learned your first letter, go ahead and continue to print it. Soon you'll have all the letters. So capital I begins at the baseline or slightly below the baseline, and it's written in a kind of backwards fashion. Good reason for using our training wheels because it's kind of backwards and we might not expect it. It starts down here at the back of it on the right side. It slants way back. It's a laid back letter, and it ends with a smile. So it starts backwards over on the right side. It has a big loop and it lays back with a smile. You can start capital I down below the line, especially if you want to make it a crossover at the bottom to make it a more show-offy letter. After you've traced it and learned the strokes with your hand and feel comfortable, come back over to the beginning of the line and practice it on your own. A laid back letter, capital I. Capital I. It is okay if this chin and smile goes up and touches the midline. It's also okay to make it a little below the midline. Capital I can connect, but it usually would connect with a crossover. So we have the I starts here, and then lowercase I. The I starts here, and then lowercase I. And then lowercase I. In Irene, it's not a connection. In Ian, it's not a connection. In Ingrid, oops, I'm sorry, you couldn't see them. In Irene, it's really not a connection. We just write the rest of the name. In Ian, it's really not a connection. In Ingrid, we could do the crossover here. In Isaiah, we could do the crossover there. Nico could have a cross. Ivan could even have the crossover on it. Practice those I's. If you have a name that begins with I, feel free to write your name in place of one of the other names. And the next letter will be J.